Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to her sacred soul space. We are so happy to have you here for another recording, but this time we're going to do things a little bit different. So I'm here, I am Yolande, and I am joined
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia
by...
Fisher. Welcome, and great to be here. It's been a while. I've seen your beautiful faces, so I'm glad to be here today.
And today, the person who will be on the hot seat, it's not really a hot seat, is Marsha. So, what you guys get a special treat today. So, Marsha, Kia, and I have a really beautiful sister spiritual bond. And so you get to sit in the living room and watch us talk the way we would on any one of our back patios or in one of our living rooms or doing a three-way call, whatever it is we do. You're going to get the full feel for what we're like when we're just having a conversation. But today's conversation is specifically about Marsha. We want you to hear us talk about her beautiful, scary, delightful, engaging, but deeply transformative journey through breast cancer. So I'm going to give it to Dr. Kia.
No, we do not.
We don't call each other that when we're just being girlfriends. So Kia is going to go ahead and kick this off with her first question or intro, whatever you want to say. We're just going to do it the way we do.
We've known each other. I've lost count how many years you've lost each other. I honestly lost count.
Yeah.
And now because it's so much of a sisterhood, I don't even care how long it's been, but I know it's been over 13 years, right? But
yes,
I remember hearing about Marsha, and when we found out that you were diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer. I remember not knowing too much because we dealt with it privately, but at the same time, we were all praying for you because we knew what was going on. And it was very difficult for me, but I had to respect the space, I would like to ask you. I would like to ask you, what was it like going, because when we hear about people going through sickness, and we never usually hear them go through it while being isolated. Sometimes we hear people say we need people around us to make sure we're good and what have you. How was it emotionally going through this in isolation, your type of isolation?
Emotionally, when I was isolated, I think that was fine. I was fine with that because it's something that I needed at the time for my soul. Not sure why I needed it, but I just need it. I found that it was my way of understanding really and truly what was happening with me. Why was this happening to me? Notice I said to me because at the time I didn't see it happening for me. I just saw it happening to me. And I needed to be able to be one with myself and with God. I've always been the kind of person that would allow other outside opinion to come in. And so I needed to be able to hear myself, hear God's voice. So I kind of stayed in a cocoon from my friends, even my family, some of my family members, even though I loved them. And even though they were still here, a part of me was just quiet. It was just quiet. And I needed to be still.
Understand that.
Yeah.
But, okay. So Marsha has always been a very private person, right? So we respected the decision, but on the outside we're like, but should we do something? Like should we violate the boundary? So for you, was there a time? I know that's the route you chose, but inside, were you sometimes feeling like, I wish somebody would check on me. I wish somebody would call over. I wish, maybe I could talk this through. Because sometimes we isolate ourselves, but then we have these little inner needs. But maybe pride, maybe, no, this is what I chose, so I'm going to stay over here. Did you at any point, right?
Yeah.
Like get that feeling like, I wish somebody would just come knock on the door. And
So I had individuals, but these are individuals that they too had gone through the journey. But there were also individuals that I wouldn't have opened up my soul space to. And so it was, I received that care I needed from those individuals, but that emotional care I needed was not there. Now, regarding you guys as my close friends, um, yeah, there was a time when I wish that you guys were here, but how would I relate to you what was going on inside of me? I was afraid of being judged or ridiculed. I was still going through questioning, am I still going to be a woman, considered a woman per se? So, it was just the scary part of me not knowing who I am and afraid that others going to see me in a different light, not allowing myself to give them the opportunity for me to be transparent with you guys. Yeah.
I kind of get you on the physical aspect of everything. When you said, am I still going to be feeling like a woman, considered a woman, my body, here it is, my breasts or whatever. I cannot imagine how you feel when you had to go through that. So let's talk about the physical aspect of it. Because I remember times where we're like, all right, you get to pick out the to them, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel even through the surgery? I know that people who get their breasts done, just because they want breasts, go through a traumatic surgery. So for you who's doing reconstructive surgery, how was that for you?
Right. So before even going into that, I just want to share with everyone, like, one of the reasons why we're even having this conversation, because it was 5 years ago this month, April, where I underwent a surgery, and it was multiple surgeries. I had early stage breast cancer, DCIS, and I didn't have to go through chemo or radiation, of which I was grateful for because of how God allowed me to find it. I didn't have to do that. If I were one of those that was disobedient, I would end up having to go through all that. So now, because of the fact that God allowed me to kind of find a thing early, me stress me and got up on my little feelings. Me stress, okay, Father, you brought this to my attention in the early stage and you keep putting in my spirit, this is bigger than you, which means we can do a little bit of negotiation. So one of my thing was that, please don't let them remove my nipples, the nipples was my thing. The nipple was my engine starter. The nipple was, yes, Marsha, And so when I first had the first surgery was done, obviously the surgeon, it was more, and I'm going to say this, ladies, when you think, okay, it's an opportunity for you to even get a breast implant or something, especially in early stage, you're going to be fine and all that. They don't think about that. They just cut. They cut to save. They cut to take out. So what you think may end up being pretty in the end does not end up being pretty in the end. You just see all the scars, And going through my first surgery, I understood that's what I needed. I had to do that. I was kind of scared at first. I had communication with God. I was just, a matter of fact, I expected him to just show up in my dream. Some people come back out and have this big epiphany or just this magnificent transformation occurred. I expected my angel or somebody to show up then, but that did not occur, which was quite fine. But having to hear that I had to go back for not a second, but even a third surgery was devastating. The second one was where I had to remove my nipples because of the fact that after they do the testing after the first surgery and realize it went out to my areola, to my nipples, and I had to remove those. That is when I was mad. I was floored because I just thought, like I said, me and God had this conversation. And I can understand. I just needed something that was originally part of the Marsha that I know to still be a part of me after this. And I remember sitting in the car and I asked him why. And all I heard was gracefully broken. And I didn't know what that meant either. But I just kept it. And I remember after surgery and, I got home, I looked up gracefully broken. And the first thing that I saw was the Tasha Cobb song, Gracefully Broken. I had that bad baby on repeat for weeks. 4 weeks just listening to understand what's the message he's trying to tell me with this gracefully broken concept, So, I'm grateful that having to go through the chemo, but the surgeries also left my having scar tissues. A lot of people who've gone through multiple surgeries have scar tissues, and sometimes mine flares up in such a way, especially if I'm stressed. It feels like somebody just took my stomach as a punching bag and just punch all the way. The black and blue is not visible on the outside, but internally, I'm totally feeling all that pain. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So even though you've gone through the surgeries, you still have the side effects.
Yes.
We don't talk about the side effects. You know, we hear about survivors and we made it through, but no one talks about the side effects that you deal with even after, surviving it. So thank you for that. I know a lot of people like to hear about that. Yeah.
What was it like for you, like financially? Because a home's finances are affected. You're out of work. Did you have coverage? Did you not? Did it disturb, the balance in the home? How was your daughter during that time? Did it affect her, your ability to care for her?
Okay. Financially, I'm grateful for God. Financially, I'm grateful for the fact that my insurance did cover my surgeries. I don't know what would have transpired if I had to go further to do chemo or radiation per se. And I'm also, my family was around to pick up the pieces, but not only that, my job. So at my job, if you have hours, sick time, and especially during the user leave period, they donate hours to individuals who are sick or have gone through surgery.
Wow.
And I remember when I felt like, should I do that, God? And I felt like I should. And I said, but no, they're not going to know my business. They're not going to know why I needed it. And you didn't have to put that out there, but I feel like I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to know where your hours are going and how you're helping my life and making a difference in my life. And so I did that. And I put out there that I was going through breast cancer and I had surgeries. And through that, I had a lot of people donated hours. So I was able to take care of my responsibility.
Look at that.
Just truly grateful. Like everything, despite the fact, this is what I noticed with this juncture of my journey. Everything, even though I wanted to be scared and just go crazy, there was always this little pacifier type of thing. Like, God was always there like, hey, I have you, don't worry. So he'd always put everything in perspective or sending the next breadcrumbs that is going to make this journey not as difficult as I think it's supposed to be. Oftentimes when we get in trauma, we think that the worst is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
But for him, for me, God just wanted me to see that I'm showing you that I got you, even when you think that you're at the bottom, even when you think no one else is there. I have you. I will send those that needs to walk with you. And that's indeed what happened.
Wow. I see humbling experiences and a whole bunch of faith.
Yes.
Be embedded in that journey.
So, so funny. This is the thing. Before I found out I was diagnosed, I had this inclination, this huge rush for me to increase my faith. And I was like, what do you mean? And at that time, guys, I was heavily involved in church, was women's ministry leader, I believe, or just gave up that role in a sense. And so I didn't understand. I was like, I read the Bible, wouldn't me increase my faith? And a young lady from my job, he then prompted her, touched her on her shoulder, and she bought a book. And to say I was led to give her this book, and it was a 30-day fast for faith. And I was like, okay. Wow. And in the midst of it, about 2 weeks going in the third week, is when I woke up to find a leak on my tank top, like a discoloration. And I was like, I want to, I tried to come up with everything in my head as to what it could be. I even said the fact that I drool, even though I didn't drool. And even though I don't know how my drool is going to leave from all the way over here to down here. But I'm just coming with anything. And I just something squeezed. And when I squeezed my nipple, I realized it was coming from that. And the Monday was a holiday, whatever holiday was in February. I don't know if it was
President's Day.
President, yeah. And I end up going to the doctor that day. And before I go, and I want to just say this, man, prayer is just so awesome. I was going to say bloody awesome. Prayer is just so awesome, man. Because what I did, I started praying for everything now. Because I was just like, I asked specifically what type of doctor I needed. I asked down to the race and everything, what type of doctor I needed to see me. And I got exactly what I wanted. And she was so beautiful in a way where she's like, I can't see, there's too much calcification. I need you to go and get a biopsy. It wasn't one of those that, oh, I can't see, so I'm just gonna guess that everything is okay and you could go home.
Right.
No, she was so detailed. And that's what I asked her. I said, I need somebody who was very, very detailed. And she was so detailed. And she sent me and I had to do a double biopsy. I did that. And then a week or two later, I found out I had early stage. And so, yes, indeed, faith was definitely embedded, because if it didn't occur the way it did, if I didn't get a message to increase it, I don't think I would have had all of that trust, all of that surrendering, even though everything else was falling to the wayside in my life. Because it's not, everything wasn't pretty before cancer. No, star was not. You know.
So let me ask you. Let me get to the nitty gritty questions people not ask you. Right?
I won't say it.
Well, there you go, translator. So
Won't say it.
Intimacy.
Yeah.
How is it after going through the surgeries with the physical feelings and the these things that you go through even after surgery, the feelings or what have you? I know your nipples were your best. You know, that was
My
your radar.
besties. I was supposed to say my besties.
The besties, right?
Yeah.
How is it intimately now? Even with dating guys, even with your previous marriage, you know, how was it intimately and sexually going into?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take it as a two-parter. So I'm going to go with the first. At the time when I had breast cancer, yes, indeed, I was married. And this is something I don't normally talk about. I normally give the other side, but I was married and my marriage was not a healthy one. And so the breast cancer came and I was hoping that it would have shifted things. But I'm going to put it off as maybe it was fear on his end as well. And sometimes men do not like to express their feelings or their fear and be authentic in that way. They too think they have to man up. And especially if you're a Jamaican, you have to man up and be the man around town. Prior to breast cancer, it wasn't as gravy or good as we would say. When breast cancer came about, I just wanted to feel, just to be held and to feel loved. And at the same time, he couldn't give that to me. He fell right into his love language, which is acts of service. So I was never hungry. I was never lacking any green juice or anything like that. But I was lacking my emotional connection, my hearing how beautiful you are. Because when I looked in the mirror, having an expander in your breast to stretch your skin to prepare you for, an implant is not a beautiful thing. You know, if you see the pictures, it's just not beautiful. I would stare in the mirror and didn't know who I was looking at. And because of the fact that the marriage wasn't great, I then find myself worried about who's going to want me. Who's going to want me after this without no nipple? Am I considered fully a woman? And I know it may seem silly to some, but it's just a thought that went through my mind. And I'm being totally honest with that, you know. And I had to learn how to re-love myself. I had to learn how to see my scars as me being unique. And I've always thought I was different, even growing up. So now I have other reasons to know that I am even more unique in that way. Now that I'm single and I am dating, I initially was trying to find, and I realized I don't have to find, because after I did reconstruction, one of the options I had was for me to get the nipples put on. Like they could do, take your skin and create a nipple. Honey, I was down for that. I was like, yes, sign me up for nipples. Nipples are a section. They're going to Oh my gosh. So I went there. My doctor, he's such a great guy. Not only a great guy, he was super handsome too. Beside the point. Anyways, so he pulled my skin up and did his little sewing with the thread, everything, got the stuff together. And like a week later, that thing went off. I was just sleeping and I woke up and I saw my skin off. It was so heartbreaking because all now you're seeing is the pink of on my breast itself and that piece of nipple skin that they were using just hanging off. Like, hey.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like, why? And I can hear God's voice said, you didn't ask me. You're being shallow. You're
Whoa.
not trusting that I will find someone who's going to accept you for you.
Wow.
You without a nipple. So now you are so worried that you got to go there to find you another man, that you want to put on something that I keep saying is bigger than you, that you didn't need. And after that, I just said, I'm not going to do it again. I had opportunity to, or even to get the tattoo. I was this close to do the tattoo. Maybe years from now I may, but right now it's just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
So yeah. So now I just allowed that to send, because that means you're gonna send someone who not only spiritually connected to you, but someone who's open, someone who will be able to see me and not my physical
Right.
or my physicality in a way.
Woo.
It's just you see my spiritual
good.
self. You see my soul. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like
That's
So,
good.
That's it.
yeah.
I like that piece. I
Yeah.
like that
And
piece.
I want to
So-
say this. I find that I would always say you have to, one of the things I learned and became my mantra, I had to see the blessing in my challenge. So even during my marriage, when I was having a hard time while I was going through breast cancer, I had to learn to see the blessing. Because of that marriage, I was able to find me. So I don't see my ex as somebody that I want to say, but just want to jump off a bridge right now. No, I see him as someone that I always would want the best for, and also I express gratitude, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't, like I said, find the true essence of Marsha. Because I remember when I was praying, because infidelity even transpired during my going through breast cancer, during that time frame, and I remember I was praying and I said, God, remove him from my life. I just need you to just do whatever you do so that he can be removed. And then I can then pick up myself and start walking into who I am called to be. And it's like, the spirit was like, no, you have to see you the way I see you. And if you see you the way I see you, then you won't have a problem with removing yourself from this situation.
Love
It was so hard.
Love
It was so hard because all of my emotions was all over the place. I was connected not only to this man, I was connected to his daughter as well. But I still have a part in my heart for her in that way. And I would always see her as a daughter, even though we're not together, And so I just wanted God to make it easy. Just snap your finger and let it happen. And so I had to choose me. I had to, as we would say, pull up the big girl baggy them.
big girl
And I
thing.
had
Yeah.
to speak my truth, and I had to recognize my journey. I had to recognize the fact that what I've been asking for, which is, who am I? What am I called to do? I had to recognize that this could be, the opening of what I am called to do. And so I had to speak my truth in a loving way. That's when I first realized, I realized the importance of the soft answer concept, where the Bible talks about.
Turn it the way around.
Yeah, because
Yes,
when I
ma'am.
approached him, it was with a soft answer. Even though, I'm from country, I've come from Portland, for those who don't know, country, straight country, yeah? But sometimes we can act as if I come from Tivoli, even though I can't fight like I come from Tivoli, but we can talk like I come from Tivoli, right? And so I didn't have to do all of that. I didn't have to go into the rude girl vibes. I just had to speak from my soul. And that's when I realized, the soul is the bomb.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's the bomb. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
That's great.
So since this experience, the reconstruction, you choosing you, right?
Yeah.
And choosing to leave the unhealthy marriage. Who is Marsha now? What is Marsha about? What is, and I would like to say, what was your greatest lesson from that experience? Yes.
Okay. So my greatest lesson, honestly, is that I actually fell in love with myself again. And it did not happen overnight. And I say this just because I realized I fell in love with my obedience part of me, the fact that when I hear, I just don't dismiss. And because of that, I discovered my awakeness. I discovered that when I put it out there and ask God for confirmation that He shows up, I discovered that I am not by myself, even though I may feel as if I'm walking physically by myself, I'm not. I ask for breadcrumbs, and He will send the breadcrumbs to individuals. And individuals who have gone through breast cancer want me to be at a restaurant because I even eat lunch by myself. I'm just a loner sometimes at a restaurant, and someone would just come and talk to me, and she's a breast cancer survivor, and then she drop a gem for me. And then I hold that in my heart space so that I don't get frightened, because one of the things I've heard over and over, um, don't eat a lot of sweets and don't entertain fear. Like cancer feeds off those two energy.
Yes.
And so I had anything I could get to take fear out of my mind that I will do. During the process, I discovered that I am called for greatness. I discovered that I'm indeed called to walk with women, and especially women who are breast cancer survivors who are in a space of reconnecting with their new normal and do not know how. I walk with them. I help them to have the soul center transformation, the one where you have to learn to connect with your body, with your soul, and with your spirit. So then you can see the blessings and the challenge. So you can see you as how God see you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. I'm the podcast is an opportunity, and I'm grateful for you guys to being a part of it, for me to encourage women to connect with their soul. And this is women in general. And now I just want to call in my pink sisters. I call you guys my pink light. And you're going to see something come out pretty soon about her pink light. And light, I broke up in an acronym, meaning living intentional through experience. And the experience that we have from our breast cancer journey, I just want to encourage my pink sisters from let us live intentional through that. And what does that mean? If it means for you to share a story so another lady can feel at ease and not so worried and know that she too can go through this journey. So that's who I am. I was told I'm a spiritual midwife, and you're going to say, what do you mean by you were told? Once again, God leads me to people, and I was led to someone. I was having dreams on top of dreams, and it led to someone to translate it for me. And she's like, oh, so you're a spiritual midwife. You're here to walk with women who are in their birthing season. At that time, I was still in the beginning of my awakening, do not know what that means, but I just knew I was supposed to work with women. I call myself a soul conductor, which is the same as a spiritual midwife. I just want to encourage women to connect with their soul because of the importance and the vitality of our soul, the connection we get from it when we connect with the divine and even our higher self. And so that's who I am. I am trying to be as authentic as I can. I try my best to speak my truth, and even through fear. And I'm not going to act as if I'm still not learning. I'm not going to act as if they're not things that I'm still struggling with and fighting with. I'm not going to act as if when I'm called to do something, if I'm not trying to question God, and self-doubt may come in, and you may just have to put me down for a minute and say, don't worry, I'll start it out for you. And then you can fall into line, So I'm just a vessel. I'm his vessel.
Man, and I can confirm and affirm that is exactly who she is.
Yeah.
What Marsha just said is my full experience of her. One of the things I admire so much about the you have become since this experience is your courage.
Oh, wow.
Your courage to sit in the discomfort, right? To sit in the pocket and figure things out, and your courage to speak your truth. Marsha was, like I said, Marsha was private. All of the stuff you're hearing right now, this is post-cancer Marsha.
Yeah.
Because Marsha would probably just keep a lot of that in. So this is the light that she carries. This is the light that she is. And it's beautiful to watch her unfoldment and how she pushes her boundaries to allow more of the light within her to come. And just like she said, the questions still come. There are areas she's still working on. But the intentional effort that I get to witness, but this woman, this Marsha that you see, to be who she is right now. And the excitement I have for the Marsha that is to come is just like, I'm just so grateful and honored
Yes,
to
I'm
just
excited.
be, to get a front seat, right? In this journey and this experience with you, sis. It's beautiful and I love you. I love you. And I don't know where Kia went.
I'm
Get your
here.
butt back
Oh,
in
she's
here.
still here. She's just absorbed. She's in a space of, oh God, let me just absorb
Yeah,
this
because
right now.
listen, when Yolanda says something I'm about to say, I'd be like, girl, why? Why I didn't go first?
That's how we connected.
Say it again, because it's true.
That's why we're so
Say it
connected.
again.
Yes, but I will say this. I know different levels of Marsha. I'm blessed to know Marsha when raunchy Marsha, it's kind of like with like a vibe, And then I know the Marsha who's straight, well, he's always been, but straight light. I remember time before I came into my own gifts. Anytime I needed clarification, I had to call Marsha. Um, always spot on, always spot on. So I use the same word, courage, because I know, again, known each other for a very long time. So I saw you through the transition of quiet Marsha to loud Marsha. And sometimes you gotta be loud, right? And I remember when I'm like, I remember times when you would say, I don't know if I want to do this. I said, Marsha, do it. Go for it. Do it. Do it. And, you question yourself, and I understand the questioning stage or what have you. But to see you blossom now where I don't have to say, Marsha, y'all gonna do that, right? Y'all gonna go through with that, right? You're doing it. Even your journals on Amazon, right? Plug.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? All these things that I see you doing, I see the growth in you.
Yeah.
I'm the baby. I think I'm the baby. Am I the baby? At
Up this circle, yes.
this circle, I'm the baby, right? And it was always seeing me trying to transition and hearing people say, I see you here, I see you here. It is a great honor to say, even though you are a year older than me or what have you, may have not gone through the crazy trauma.
5 months.
Huh?
Months? 5 months.
5 months? Okay.
5 months.
But maybe have not gone through the crazy, crazy, crazy trauma that happened. This is a trauma for you.
Yes.
And
yes, indeed.
You blossom from that and take that trauma and turn it into your testimony and your gift to other women to help them through. It's a beautiful thing to see because they're getting a beautiful person that's sincere when they're being spoken to. So all I can say is I encourage you, and you probably don't even need encouragement at this point, but I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and even go beyond this. I want to see you, in arenas talking to women. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you writing books.
Yes,
I
definitely.
see that for you because you have a story to tell. You have a survivor story, but not only a survivor story, but a light story. You get to plant light into others. And I love you you already know, like you and Yolanda, I cannot say it enough. Even when I didn't feel like I loved myself, you guys showed me love, even in my darkest moments, even in my backyard moments, when people didn't understand me. And I got the taste of that from Marsha from that time. So all who get it now, I already got that. You know what I'm saying? But who get it now? Enjoy. And I tell your Pink family going to listen to this podcast, don't be afraid to reach out to Marsha. She's not like any other. She's very sincere, genuine, and wants to grow. This is not someone who is just out there just talking. She feels everything she said.
Absolutely.
Utilize her. Utilize her.
Thank you.
You know
Thank
one
you
of the
so
things
much.
I noticed, Marsh? What's up? I noticed in all your intentions and the things you want to do, one of the things I noticed about Marsha is money is never her motivator for what she does.
Never.
When she talks about wanting a wellness center and all the things she wants to do for women, money never enters the conversation. And that's how you know it's all heart. It's all heart. And sis, let me tell you something. While Kia was speaking, what I heard was He gave you beauty for ashes.
Yes.
He gave you beauty for ashes.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing. That's what you're putting out into the world, showing other women, other pink sisters, other women in general. Because you can speak in so many areas.
Yeah.
You can speak to women who have been through the difficult divorce.
Yeah.
That just like he did for you, it did. God did the universe. We use all the words over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you are the example of what getting beauty for ashes can look like.
And a very good
Thank you.
example, a great example for your daughter, because I
Yeah.
watch you
Thank
growing.
you. I appreciate it. I thank God for allowing me to be in a space where individuals could view me that night.
Yes.
Because sometimes people see you, but that's not how you see yourself. So I'm glad that I'm walking and I'm trying to continue to walk. You know, I would say in the path he's created or called me to.
Yeah.
I told my mom recently, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm just afraid of dying before I complete my mission, my purpose, and my task. And so every time when I want to come up with an excuse to not do it, that's what comes back in my head. And like, dude, so you're going to just leave out without calling in the tribe? You're going to leave out without doing what you're supposed to do? Light their light so they could go and light another light? You know, that's what we're all here for.
Yes.
And so, yes, I look forward to connecting with my pink lights.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
speaking of journal, I do have the Their Beautiful Soul journal. This is specifically for my sisters, my pink sisters. And it's a way for you to connect with your soul as you go through the journey, and for you to see the blessings in the challenge as you go through the journey. And even if you already completed your breast cancer journey, it's been 5-10 years, doesn't matter. Your soul is always waiting for that connection. And so roll over to Amazon. Just type in Their Beautiful Soul. You don't see a lot of these. You see it pops up, Marsha Campbell. Either way, you will see it. And just start journaling and share your journal. I'm going to start sharing some of mine as well, just so that you see the beauty. And when you go back and read, and you realize just the connection that you have with yourself and the beauty of it. And you can imagine other people had this connection with you and you never had this connection with you, which means you were given so much and you never gave to you. So, you know, journaling helps you to connect and give back to yourself. And I look forward to connecting with my pink light. And remember, light is living intentional through experience. A matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do to my future pink light sisters that are coming in. I'm going to put a challenge out there. How about you share your story? Because I've always talked about your stories here for you to share. And of course, part of my story, our story, were published in the book No More Silence, You Too Can Rise. And then this is my first time actually doing a video version of it in this way. And so I've always encouraged each others to do their story. So if you are being led to share your story, like a 20-minute version, we could put it up on our channel, the Her Sacred Soul Space channel. Awesome. But this will be community to be dedicated to the pink light. And basically what you're going to do, tell your name and your stage, and of course give permission for us to share this video on our platform. And you're gonna talk about how the breast cancer journey called or allowed you to find yourself. How did you connect with yourself in such a beautiful way? And talk about what tools, what gems did you learn, or what mechanism that enable you to get such a connection with yourself. I would love to hear that story. And by you sharing, you're encouraging others to not focus so much on the challenge, but just the blessing of the fact that we are here, and we're here, we can still share our story. So just wanted to put that out there.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you all, beautiful souls, for joining us for this very special episode of Her Sacred Soul Space, and for sitting with your heart open as you hear our sisters share this beautiful, transformative journey that has given us the gift that she is today. And stay in touch. Like, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and follow if you're on Facebook. And if we're on Instagram, follow us there too.
Yes.
That we look forward to stay connected with you and you in connection with us, and look forward to more episodes in the future of Her Sacred Soul Space. Have yourselves a great day. Bye.
One love, everybody.
Oh.